right, welcome again, and to all of those that are joining us through live streaming. We're delighted that you are with us this morning. On the meditation that we just did, I kind of led you through 4 paths. And those 4 paths are kind of what we're going to look at this morning. And the 4 paths lead us to an opportunity to learn and to grow, express ourselves and our unique gifts, to help each other, and most importantly, to develop a deeper understanding of our connection to the whole. I got the opportunity to hear Lisa Coffey. 3 months ago, we had her on Wednesday evening, and she introduced one of her books. I believe she wrote this a little while ago, but it's called What is Your Dharma? And it is Discover the Vedic Way to Life's Purpose. And I know we've had lots of opportunities to discover our life's purpose, and I could stand here and tell you to run right out right now and get that book. Why? Because it'll make a difference. Come on, it'll make a change in your life. It'll be something you want to be. But will it? I can't stand up here and tell you that, yes, absolutely, that book, you get that book, you open it up and you read it from cover to cover, you are going to be different. You are going to make changes in your life that are just awesome. But I can't really tell you that because I'm not you. I read the book, and the book gave me wonderful ideas. I was deeply inspired by many of the things in it, and it inspired me to develop a children's program that I used this summer. And in reading the book, the wonderful things in there led me to ideas, inspiration, of how I can take things, experiences, that help me understand how I am connected to the whole. And if we go to with that premise that we know that God is all there is nothing else, how can we but connect with that divine all the time? Because if, and I know for me, my truth is that I know that God is all there is. And that every time I look out in this room and I look in everybody's eyes, I see the divine. So how can I help but not connect every day? Connect when I go to the grocery store. Connect when I'm driving my car. And sometimes I don't want to look next door to me because it might be a police car. And then I have to look at my speedometer. Am I going the right speed limit? But I'm still connecting. No matter what it is, I'm connecting. So there isn't any time or any place that we can't connect. So the paths that we're going to go on today are called yogas, according to Lisa in this book. And she said yoga is a Sanskrit word meaning yoke or to unite. And the purpose of the yoga is to experience the connection with that divine that is within us. And with that connection, how many ways and how many paths can we travel? So the paths that we're going to travel are 4 different ones. I let you know what those were in the meditation. The first one that we're going to walk down is the path of love. It's called to love. That's what this particular yoga is. And it's to love. Peaceful loving. What is peaceful loving? Anybody have any ideas? You can shake your head. Yes, no. Peaceful loving. That's a loving that comes from inside of us. And where else would love come from than inside of us? It is a peacefulness that no matter what we experience from moment to moment or day to day, that the underlying cause or the underlying feeling is one of love. And we say, well, that really can't be true because look at the world. Look at the different things that we have to experience. Well, that's true. Appearances have lots of different avenues in which we can mentally track down. But where we're going to go for the moment is to recognizing that peaceful loving comes from inside. It's something that you create within yourself. No one can give it to you. You can see pictures, you can read poetry, you can read books, you can listen to music. And all those things invoke something in you. those feelings. Those feelings are what create that space for you to experience what love is. And then you take those ideas and you put them into your experiences, your daily life. That makes a difference for you. And that's your love, your peaceful loving. It's yours. None of us are the same in that area. Love is the same. But how we express it, how we take it in and make it personally ours, is simply our job. It's one of the wonderful things that we get to do while we're here experiencing this life. One of the others is loving God. Loving that power, the essence, or whatever name you give it, and be devoted to it. Well, that's spiritual practices, that's being with people of like mind, of experiencing wonderful different things, and also opening ourselves up to experience things from other cultures, other beliefs, and things like that, because that adds and enriches our devotion. And because, again, God is all there is, everything that we see, everything that we touch, everything we experience is a devotion. Is a devotion to, say you have a devotion to cooking. Well, if you have that devotion, I have a devotion to sewing. That's one of my very favorite things. And because I have that devotion when I'm sewing, and when I'm creating something out of that gift that I have, I am in such bliss. I am devoted to loving God in that form, to loving the talent that I have and able to express it and give it. So that's devotion for me. That's a devotion that I'm able to give other people through my talents and my gifts. So everything that we do, every experience that we have, is a way to be devoted. Because again, God is all there is, and we're that divine, unique expression of what God is. Everything that we do is a devotion. Everything. One of the other ones is loving friendships. Loving friendships is everyone you embrace. But the best way to be a best friend, or to be a friend, is to be that first yourself. There was a little preschool with the kindergarten teacher, and she was trying to teach the boys and girls how to be friends, how to play nicely with each other, and how to share. Sharing is a very difficult thing. Do you guys have a hard time sharing? Yeah? How many have something that's really precious to them? And no, you don't want anybody else to touch it, because what if something happens to it? Oh my God, it'll never come back again. Well, we know that's not true of it. But we have that feeling inside of us saying, oh, if I do that, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I'll never see it again. Well, we get to see it in many, many different other avenues. But anyway, the teacher was trying to help the kids understand this. And there was one little boy, and he would be sitting off in a corner all by himself. Nobody played with him, and he wouldn't play with anybody else. And so the teacher finally went over, and this was weeks and weeks that this went on. So the teacher finally went over and said, Peter, what's the matter? You have all these other kids in your class that would love to play with you and be friends with you. And he said, well, no, they're not. And she says, well, of course they are. He says, no, they're not. And she was kind of perplexed. And she said, well, Peter, you're going to have to explain why they're not. Because they don't come over to me. They don't come over and say hello. They don't come over and greet me and tell me I'm cute and tell me this and tell me that. And so the teacher said, well, have you tried to go over and ask somebody what their name is and if they would like to play? Well, no. That's not what a friend is. So here's a little one that had a concept that friends came to you. You didn't go to your friends. So after chatting with him and introducing him to a couple of other little boys in the class, she started to see him interacting more with the other kids and things like that. And so she said to him, she says, okay, Peter, I noticed that you're playing with the other boys and some of the other girls. What changed? What's different? He said, well, I decided that if I'm going to be a friend, I have to be that for me first before I can be it for somebody else. So where he got that information, the teacher didn't share it with him, but it came to him. He got the information in whatever form, in whatever fashion. So he made a discovery, a self-discovery. To be a friend, you have to be that to yourself first. You have to give that to yourself so that you have it within you, so you have the ability to give it to someone else. So friendship is one of those things that we watch and we nurture, and we watch the flow of energy that goes from person to person. There's a give and there's a take. And there's an opportunity to share who you are and what you are. So, and as you continue to do that, friendships just blossom. And many times you have not enough time to be with all the friends that you have. So those are one of the great things. Another one of the parts of love is love as a child. How many could go back and experience the love you had? You still have it, the underlying picture. The love that you had when you were a child. Some experience that you had, or something that told you that you were so loved. No one asked you, you didn't have to ask for it or anything. It just was there. Most of the time that's when you have interconnections with your mother or your father or the close people in your family. That it didn't seem to matter how ornery you were or how disruptive you were or any of those things. They loved you anyway. Always. You didn't have to do anything. You just had to be who you were. And the love was just poured in. So to love God as a child is to simply open and be aware that that love is there. You don't have to go search for it. It simply is there. And how do you know that it's there? You get the opportunity to recognize that within and then step without and begin to see that love. How many have had the opportunity to, in fact, it just reminded me with the slide that we had on when Andy was playing, that gorgeous wave that went over like that, and then you saw the sun. That was so gorgeous. That was such a love of nature, of man. Where could that be recreated? I just don't think it can. I know an artist can come pretty close to it, but as that picture. But just to look at that and know that that's part of who we are. That's part of that devotion that God has for us. That it's there for our partaking. So, loving as a child, simply being aware, being open to that love, is acceptance of it and received as a gift. The last one of the loving is loving God as your beloved. I think most of us all have experiences of having that one person in our life that makes such a difference, that seems to have given you everything you ever wanted. And you didn't have to ask for it. It was just there. Whether it be a husband, a spouse, a good friend, any of those. It was just there. And they almost, to the point where they kind of read your mind and finished your sentences and things for you. That is the kind of love, the kind of experiences that we have day to day and moment to moment when we simply recognize that we are connected to the divine, that we have the ability to be open, we have the ability to receive and to give. So the path of love is a beautiful one to walk. Sometimes it has rocks in it. The path is bumpy. There may be big, huge boulders in it. But if we always go back to that place that the love is within us, all those things simply seem to dissipate, and the road is clear and the path is smooth. So when we remember that the yoga is to be love, simply to be that. And it brings us right back to where we started, within ourselves, as we did with the meditation, coming right back to the circle. All right. One of the other things, the next yoga that we talk about, is to serve. How many have jobs? Does everybody have a job? Most everybody has a job, had a job, experienced the work experience, right, where you went to work. Well, yeah, you went to work. Well, I have the wonderful experience of being the administrator here at the center, and I have for lots and lots of years. And I think I'm terribly blessed. It's not terribly. Heavenly blessed, let's put it that way. Heavenly blessed because I get to come to work and I get to be in a place that is filled with love, with the opportunity to give and to support and to be. And I know not everybody has that opportunity. Sometimes you have to go to work and you have a boss that's a bear, or you have coworkers that you'd like to send to another planet. You know, just different things like that, different experiences like that. And it's just like, what do I do with that? So when we serve, even if you serve for compensation, or you serve just to volunteer, just because that's something you choose to do, they come from the same place. They come from that path of service. And if you work in an office, or you work in what other kind of opportunities there are to either be compensated or to serve, if you can imagine a ream of paper. There's 500 sheets in a ream of paper. So if you imagine that paper is serving you. Paper serves as center. There's flyers on your chairs that are advertising or letting us know about events coming up. Well, if we track back that paper, who made the paper? Where did the paper come from? How did it get processed? Who cut down the tree? Who planted the tree? And it goes on and on and on all the way back. And all of those things are of service. Everything and every person gave something for that piece of paper to go on that chair to give you some information. Everything is of service. Every opportunity that we have to make a difference is an opportunity to serve. And the parts of work or volunteerism is a way that we can express back to the path of love in some form. Sometimes there's a lot of people that don't have what we would want to express as love for their bosses, or love for their organization, or love for their places they have to go, or they feel the need they have to have compensation in order to make their lives what their lives look like. The way it changes is when we give ourselves the opportunity to look at it differently, to be of service in a different way, in a different consciousness of perspective. So we have a workspace. Let's kind of go to, you have a cubicle, it's got the little 3 walls, and you have your desk, your computer, and all that. And you get a task. Your boss gives you a task and says, okay, I need this and this and this done. And you say, well, wait a minute. And they say, no, I don't want to hear about it. I just want you to do the task. Just get it done. So we've got opportunities to look at it and going, okay, I didn't get a chance to find out what the reason behind this task is. I was just requested to do this task. So in order for this task to be beneficial to you and to anyone else down the line behind you that is going to be served, one is our being the best we can be with all our abilities placed in that task. And you give it thought. Give it a reason for being greater than what it appears to be. Whether it's typing a memo or creating a book or creating a job description that's going to open up wonderful opportunities for lots of people. Whatever it is, We give it our positive feelings and our positive thoughts that go through that particular thing and the energy that we add to it. And we put love in the process. Love in the process of, instead of ripping the paper out and throwing it into the printer, we take it and we bless it. And we know that this is making a difference. This is being connected to the next person or to the next thing. We can be just as connected to things as we can to the people in our lives. And when the process is done, how do we feel about it? Did I do a good job? Did I give it the best that I could give it? And we hopefully work our ideas and our thoughts into that yes, this is the best I can do with this. I've had experiences where you get an idea or something comes to you and you go, oh, that's what we can do with this. And your boss says, just run with it. Do whatever you want to do with it. So you do. And then mine was the program I told you about in the beginning. I created the program for the 4 paths for the Cosmic Kids. And you plan all these things, and you get everything all lined up. You get all the things that you need to carry on the projects and things that you're going to work with the kids. And I'm always really excited. Wow, let's try this. Let's see how the kids are going to like this. They're just going to love this. I just know they are. So you get everything out. You have all these. I had 15 kids sitting in front of me. I'm going, man, we're going to do this and this. And they all look at you like, huh? Huh? We're going to do what? Well, yeah, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and it's going to look like this, and you might get a little bit of a stir that, okay, let's give this a try. And so they sit down at the table, and you go through the process, and they're done in 2 minutes. 2 minutes? How long did it take me? 4 hours just to get the stuff together. 2 minutes, and they're done. Hi. Wow. So I have the opportunity to go, okay, that wasn't good for them. It was great for me, but it wasn't good for them. So you pick all the stuff up and you put it aside and you go into something else, even if you let them run around the room for 5 minutes doing the things they want to do. It started out mundane, yet because I wasn't attached to making it be a certain way, that I gave the children the opportunity to say, no, this isn't what we're up to. We're not about this today. And we let go of it. So how we place that in other areas of our lives, especially in service and in work. That's not the best job I ever wanted. Who wants to go around and vacuum the floors and pick up the trash cans and all that other kind of stuff? I don't think I get too many people in heavenly agreement that, yeah, that's something I really want to do. Let's do that. Yet, it is something that needs to be done. But we can go through and we can bless every trash can that we had because it was there and available for somebody that needed it. And mundane as a trash can is. It was there. And it was available. So we get the opportunity to recreate that for the next set of people that come in. We just get that opportunity. So when you go and you find yourself in a place of service, and you find yourself in a place of giving of yourself, even if the task is mundane, and even if the task makes no sense at all to you, do what you can to devote yourself, to create that space, to make it loving, to make it make a difference. We're all at choice about that. So when you go into work tomorrow, you have an opportunity. How are you going to create the day? How are you going to create? How are you going to show your devotion of God within you in what you're doing? We're always a choice. So you have a choice to be able to see how that's going to work for you and what you can do. There's most everybody knows the poet, Khalil Gibran. It's Khalil, right? Khalil Gibran? I think that's how you say it, but anyway. Huh? No, not Bill. Khalil. No, I know it's not Bill. But Bill's easier to say. But anyway, he wrote a beautiful poem about children. And I went ahead and took this poem and I added a little bit of a twist to it. And I removed the word children And I put in the words work, service, or ideas. So here's the poem. So when you think about it, kind of think about it in that vein. Your love, your work, your knowledge, your accomplishments are not yours. They are the cause and the effect of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, your attention, your passion, but not your identity, for they have an identity of their own. You maintain their energy, but not their unfoldment. For the unfoldment dwells in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit even in your dreams. Seek not to make them exactly as you envisioned them, for life goes not backwards or remains unchanged. You are the bow from which your ideas are living arrows that are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and it bends you with its might, that the arrow may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as it loves the arrows that fly, so it loves the bow that is stable. We give birth to ideas all the time. We give birth to experiences all the time. The archer, of course, is the divine, or God. That's the one that helps you as the bow, holds the bow and sends forth your ideas, sends forth the universal ideas, the divine ideas that go out and make a difference. Ernest Holmes tells us that ideas have a purpose. Well, I would think so. Otherwise, we'd be awfully hungry, wouldn't we? If somebody didn't have a purpose of cooking or creating recipes or things like that, we wouldn't have the glorious ideas and the glorious ways in which we can nurture our bodies through these different things, and the ways in which people create their ideas and what they do with them. So whether you have a volunteer job or whether you have a job or you receive compensation, think about the poem. Know that whatever you put into it, it's released. You let the arrow go and it flies as far as it needs to fly and hits its mark, wherever that mark is. And sometimes it's nice to know that we're not responsible for where it goes. We're simply responsible for what goes in it, which is the love and the care and the concern and the connection that we have with one another. So think about those things when you're working on things for work. Mahatma Gandhi says about work and service, no matter how insignificant the thing you have to do is, do it as well as you can. Give it as much of your care and attention as you would give to the thing you regard as most important in your life. And I can almost guarantee you your day will fly by. I get in here at 9:30 and in 5 minutes it's 5. It's like, I don't know how that happens. It just does. So that's a place, a path that we walk every day. So it's a path that you can step into and know that you create it as you move forward. One of the other things that we look at and find places to make a difference is that space of love within us. And our career, our jobs, the way in which we serve is that way to make a difference. So lovingly embrace that idea and let that become a devotion for you. The next path that we walk down is knowledge of self, knowledge and wisdom. And that comes in a variety of ways. Knowledge can be something you learn from experience. Knowledge can be something that you actually physically do. Knowledge can be something from a book, the internet, TV. Come from anywhere. Knowledge is open and available. And the question is, what do I want to know? Sometimes we acquire knowledge by our own design, or we have the opportunities put in our pathway to learn the knowledge, which is our learning and our growing process. I've had the wonderful adventure over the last 3 years of being able to figure out and learn how my house works. Doesn't that sound simple? It's not really. I have cabinets. We've got this idea that I wanted to make these cabinets. This is all about knowledge and what you do with the wisdom you gain from it. And I had these ideas. I wanted these cabinets. So I got online. I ordered these cabinets from IKEA. I get these cabinets, and they come in 50 different boxes. I thought, oh my, what am I going to do with this? So they laid stacked in the garage for, I don't know, a month or so. Then they made it as far as my craft room, where they sat for another month or so. And finally, my lovely brother came to visit, and he said, well, I'll put them together for you. So he goes and he puts them together for me. He starts putting this one cabinet together. And I said, wait, stop. He goes, what's the matter? I said, that's not what I ordered. He says, what do you mean it's not what you ordered? I said, that's not what I ordered. It was bookshelf. I didn't want a bookshelf. I wanted a cabinet. And he said, okay. So he stopped, and I had to call IKEA the next day. And through my knowledge, I learned that when you get stuff from IKEA, the picture you see is the picture complete. That's the whole thing, right? Well, I got boxes that I had to figure out how to create the whole and put it together. So with the help of a few people, I got some of the cabinets together, moved them in my room, moved stuff in and out, and there they sat. They looked lovely, but they had doors. Well, nobody was brave enough to do the doors. So the doors sat again for several months. So this one Saturday morning, I got up and I said, okay, Susan, you know absolutely somewhere inside of you that you can do this. You can put these cabinets together. Okay. So I take the cabinets, the doors in my room, and I open up the boxes, and there's directions in many languages. Many languages. Well, I chose English because that's the best one I'm good at. So I go ahead and I lay it out, and you know what? There are no words. There are only pictures. Oh, cats. This screwing, that screwing, this kind of stuff. So I just centered myself, and I said, okay, there's that place within me that knows exactly what I need to do, how I need to do it, and this is accomplished. So about 2 hours later, all 4 of my cabinets had doors. I was so excited. Then, yes, I did it. And the excitement that I had was because the knowledge was there. Sometimes knowledge isn't the fact that you physically put something together, you physically go out and create it. You find people, or you find internet, or you find any of those things that lead you to that knowledge to acquire and be what it is you want to have. So I did that. I also did that with my television stand. Yes, for me. So it's not impossible. There is no impossibilities around. There's always possibilities that we can do. William Channing said that of all the discoveries which man needs to make, the most important at the present moment is that of self-forming power, treasured up in themselves. Well, I did exactly what he said. I used that power of allowing myself to know that I could do that I could find a way to have it be what I wanted it to be. And that's the discovery. That's the self-discovery. That's the self-knowledge. And we can use that in so many ways. And what other treasures do we possess? As he says in there, there's treasures within ourselves. Well, the power to recognize our oneness with God through meditation, prayer, education, and most importantly, living life. Most importantly. The power to know that we are each unique expressions of the divine, and that there is absolutely no one exactly like us. You know why? Because everybody else is taken. You can't be somebody else. They're already gone. You just have you. So you use you. And we also have the greatest power, which is the ability to change when we so want change to happen. Ernest Holmes says that the manifested universe is a result of the self-contemplation of God. Man's world of affairs is a result of his self-contemplation. That's good news. And it's also bad news. Bad news is we don't have the opportunity to whine, complain, blame. It isn't my fault. It's the economy. It's my boss. It's my spouse. It's my kids. It's all these other things. We don't get that luxury because we have that power. We have that power to look at our affairs and say, this isn't happening the right way. This isn't honoring me. This is no longer serving me for my highest and best good. So what can I do? I can use that power. I can use those tools. I can use that knowledge. And if you aren't sure you have that knowledge or that wisdom, guess what? Where can you go? I don't hear anything. Center for Spiritual Living, yes. And I'll help you make cabinet doors. Yes, we go out and we find. We open ourselves up to receive what it is that's available to us. There's nothing out there that says no. It always says yes. We're the ones that say no. We're the ones that say that isn't going to work. So that's the bad news. The good news is we have the abilities and that we can. The final path that I want to share with you is the path to simply be. Who knows how to be? It's a really simple word. It's 2 letters. How do you just be? Well, when I thought about that, and after I read all the information that Lisa shared, I said, well, being is in silence. Being is gratitude. Being is appreciation. Being is wonder. Have you ever had the experience where you either had laryngitis really bad and you couldn't talk? I mean, no matter what you did, you couldn't talk. You just, that's it. Guess who you had to be with? You. You got to listen in silence to you. And you get the opportunity to hear who you are, what you think, how you feel. And usually we say, oh, well, no, that's not how I feel. That's not it. But we're more likely to express that part of us when we can talk. Because it's much easier to be able to say it out loud to someone else and say all the reasons why it's that way, instead of just being silent and knowing that that silence guides you to that divine, that place within you that is the beloved, that gives you peace and joy and comfort and all of those things. Silence is one of them. Margaret Young says, often people attempt to live their lives backwards. They try to have more things, more money, in order to do more of what they want, so they will be happier. The way it really works is that you must first be who you really are, and then do what you need to do in order to have what you want. Just kind of reverse the whole process. Sometimes we get so busy with life that we're no longer living it. It just flies by. And I took the word life itself, and the L is life is the ability to love and be loved. Love yourself and love everyone else around you. Because guess what? When you love yourself, and you love everyone else around you, you're loving yourself. Because we're all connected. We're all living the beingness of what God is. And the recognizing that is that loving yourself where you start first. To gain a best friend, you have to be a friend yourself, as we talked about earlier. Be inspired in every moment and appreciate what you feel, which is the I. Be inspired. Hang around kind of with people that kind of help bring that out in you or move you forward into discovering more of who you are. We have two precious words that we use pretty often, and we use them unconsciously. And those two words are, I am. Most of the time, without our conscious thinking, I am frustrated, I am mad, I am disappointed, I am unhappy, I am poor, I am. And the more times we state I am and what we put behind it, we eventually become. We have the perfect right, and it's healthy to, express anger, express disappointment, express those different things. But the trick is to resist being it. Express the feeling. Allow that to come out, because then it doesn't reside inside of you and make it harder to move into that place of devotion for yourself and for that divine presence within you. So pay attention to your words. The next one is F. Be filled with joy with the smallest things, the simply smallest things in your life. I have a fabulous grandson. His name is Dominic. And I don't get to see him too often, but I get to go and visit. And one of his jobs at night is that he helps Mommy clean the living room and put all the things away. Well, the way his concept of cleaning the living room and putting everything where it belongs is to pile everything in his toy box. He's got a toy box in the corner. That's his daddy's army boots and his belt, and anything and everything he finds goes into the toy box. And then my daughter Casey, she sends me this little video, and she says, watch Dominic clean the living room. So he goes around, he puts all this stuff in the box, and he's paying no attention to Casey at all. And so here's this box, and he's standing there, and he's looking this box, and he looks around, and he goes, ta-da! I did it! I'm done! Yay! And that wasn't because I had to clean the living room, and it wasn't because Mommy made me clean the living room. It was because I did it. What a cool, simple little thing that kids get joy out of. It's just amazing. I got to visit about a month ago, almost a month ago, and I had taken a few little clothes for Dominic, and I gave him this shirt, and it has a dinosaur on it. He loves dinosaurs, and it says "hungry" across the front of it. I just thought it was cute, so I brought it for him, and he put it in. I was finishing getting dressed, and I came out of the bedroom, and he's standing there right there in front of me, and he says, and I look, and I said, oh, you have your new shirt. And he goes, ta-da! Ta-da has a new meaning to me now. What a cool thing to be able to pick the simplest things in our experiences and in our life that add so much joy and light and love to who we are. Guess what? That's God. That's devotion. That's all those things that all those paths lead us to. And then the next one is enlightened. Be enlightened in the act of recognizing that each experience gives us the opportunity to understand the oneness with God and all our connection to it. Enlightened. That can mean so many things to so many different people depending on where you are. Enlightened to me is the aspect that I can, even in the deepest sorrow and the deepest sadness and the deepest thing that seems like it's a never-ending tunnel I'll never get out of. That I can close my eyes and go to that part, that inner part of me, and know that it is filled with light. It is filled with love. It is filled, and even though the appearances outside of me tell me different, I know that I can find that place, and I can touch it, and I can have that be a visual expression of who I am, even in the darkest of nights. To me, that's enlightenment. It enlightens me to know that whatever is outside of myself is simply there for a fleeting moment. It's not there for a really long time. It's fleeting. Have you ever gone to a movie theater and you went in and you paid your ticket and you went in and you sat down in the seat? Well, that's your seat. Nobody else is going to sit in that seat except you, right? Right. You watch the movie, you enjoy the movie, you get up. Do you take the seat with you? No, leave it there. You can't take it with you. But it's my seat. I paid for that seat. For the fleeting moment you did. And you enjoyed it to the fullest. And it moves out of your experience. As many things that we have move into our experiences, and we enjoy them and we admire them to the fullest, and we freely let them move out. Because the more we allow that to move through our experiences, the more come in to fill that space. And we're at choice as to what we want to come in and be filled with. So enlightenment is one of those things that it's not a getting there. It's not like they're at the end of that path that we talked about. It's not standing at the end of that path and go, yes, I'm enlightened. Isn't that? It's the recognition that that's something you get to do all the time. You get to be all the time. So it's how you choose to do that. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross wrote this, and I really liked this particular part of it. Learn to get in touch with the silence within yourself and know that everything in life has a purpose. There are no mistakes, no coincidence. All events are blessings given to each of us to learn from. So each blessing that we get in silence, in gratitude, in appreciation, and in wonder, they're all there to help us learn, to enlighten us, to help us know, to help us be, and to help us love. All of those things are there. So as you move forward into this week, know that you are love, you are service, you are knowledge and wisdom, and most importantly, you are truly who you are, which is love. And when I was finishing up my talk, I was trying to figure out a way of how I could close it. And yesterday we had a memorial service here, and I was in the bookstore while they were finishing up, and this was kind of on my mind, how I would do something like that. And all I had to do was go in the bookstore and look at the wall. Walls have wonderful things on them. And this wall, there is a plaque that's on the wall. And the plaque says, and then this is my gift to you, this is your life. Find a passion and pursue it. Fall in love. Not a bad place to start is with yourself. Dream big. Laugh a lot. Believe in magic. Tell stories. Reminiscing about the good old days. You know what? Last week was a good old day. Doesn't have to be 20 years ago. It could be last week. Believe in the future. Be creative. Spend time with people you admire. Seize opportunities when they reveal themselves to you. Love with all your heart. Never give up. Do what you love. Be true to who you are. Remember, everybody else is taken. Make time to enjoy the simple things of life. Spend time with your family. Forgive yourself and others, even if it's really hard. Be grateful. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Follow your dreams. Try new things. Work from love. Don't count the minutes, count the laughs. Embrace change. Trust in yourself. Be thankful. Be kind to everyone. And above all else, make every moment count because you're worth it. Thank you. Namaste.